This next one I threw in here because I really hadn't seen anybody anywhere talking about this card. I kind of wanted to walk through it with you and see what your thoughts were on it. I know it's not really it kind of is a Bryan card, but it's way more.
It says
James
graveyard
card.
on it.
It's a Fiend Artisan, hybrid Golgari for a 1/1 creature nightmare. It says Fiend Artisan gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. Kind of Tarmogoyf, kind of Golgari Grave Troll.
The Golgari Grave Troll is countered,
right?
So it never changes.
So it doesn't change. Yeah.
This is always looking at your graveyard to see how big it is. You can have a 2-mana 7/7 on turn 4.
Right.
Which is very good.
Yeah, really good. The other part of this card is what kind of makes it interesting. It's a X and a hybrid Golgari, and tap it. Sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less. Put it onto the battlefield. Shuffle your library. Use this ability as a sorcery.
Okay. I feel like there's a lot of shenanigans you can do.
Yes.
I also feel like it might be too slow for standard.
Could be.
I guess, did we say what the casting cost was? Real quick, it's Golgari hybrid, and It's a 1/1.
Yep.
But it could be too slow. I feel like in Commander or Brawl, where you might have more time, this is just something that's going to get your missing creature combo piece. Well, whatever.
I don't think you can think of this card in terms of what currently exists in Standard. I think you have to think of this card in terms of what is going to exist.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about, some hypothetical Abzan list with Mythos of Nethroi and one of the cards we're going to talk about in a little while here, and this, actually two of the cards we're going to talk about in a little while, and this, I think that second ability is more useful when you can kind of make it toolboxy, where you go get a Silver Bullet, you go get your Dranith Magistrate, or you go get, whatever you need at the time.
Yeah, Knight of Autumn.
Yeah, sure. 4 mana, go get a Knight of Autumn. Get your value off of it, sack it, turn it into something else. It's almost it's
pod.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, they keep making twists and different moves on Birthing Pod, and this is kind of the next one, where it's probably the most fair of them because you have to kind of pay the mana for the thing you're going to go get.
Right, but you also don't have to work up or down. There's no chain that you have to worry about going through. You can jump anywhere you want.
Yeah, you can take your 1-drop and turn it into a 7-drop as long as you have 8 mana.
Right.
So I think it's unique.
Yeah. There's definitely some cards that are currently legal that play well with it. There's a lot of good self-mill stuff right now in Standard. There's a lot of good self-mill stuff in Pioneer right now.
Yeah.
So...
Glowspore Shaman is kind of the natural thing you think of. It's okay, it's going to hit my land, it's going to put some cards in my graveyard. And there's a couple cards in this. There's one creature in this set that's just I think it's a vanilla 3/3, but when it comes into play, it mills 3 cards over for seemingly no reason in the limited environment.
Yeah, I mean, you also have Mire Triton from Theros.
Oh, yeah, that card's great.
Randomly mills too. I'd been playing Ashiok a little bit with alongside Kroxa.
Oh, yeah.
That's something you could do with this. Actually, this guy kind of works well with the Titans, too. Oh, no, because you can only do it as a sorcery.
Oh, yeah, you can't sack in response.
You can't sack the Titan.
Busted.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But also, you look at it, and, my head, I was oh, it's a black-green card. It's not. It's a
black or green card.
Or a green card. So you can play it for black or green.
It's also easier to cast in your Abzan deck or your Sultai deck. It's easier to cast because it's not double black or double green.
Exactly. You can go Temple Garden into Godless Shrine.
Right.
And still be able to cast it on turn 2. So, yeah, this is interesting. It's just, I think just being a big dumb idiot sometimes will be good enough. The turns where it does its Tarmogoyf impression is a 7/7. And you're just oh, I paid 2 mana to have the biggest thing on the board.
Right.
And I did something else, is just going to be oh, this is really great.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is one I put on here. It might breathe life into a modern archetype. It might spawn a pioneer archetype, and that is General Kudro of Dranith. Yep. So it's 1 white-black for a 3/3 human soldier. And Other humans you control get +1/+1. I would like to introduce you to the very first strictly human lord in Magic.
Is it really?
Yep. The other one that is like other humans get +1/+1 is a werewolf and flips over.
Oh, yeah.
Mayor of Aberbrook.
Mayor of Aberbrook, yep.
This is the first, like, I only buff humans in Magic. So,
racist.
Okay. Yeah, racist. Speciesist or whatever. So, that's fine. Like, just making humans, it helps humans on that beatdown plan.
Yeah, I mean, that's also, like, a reasonable cost for a 3/3 Lord, 3 mana.
Yeah, I mean, think of all the 2/2 Merfolk Lords.
Yeah.
That are like 2/2 for 3.
Yeah.
So whenever it enters the battlefield or another human enters the battlefield under your control, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. So it's just randomly graveyard hate.
Mm-hmm.
And it has pay 2, sacrifice 2 humans, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater.
So you get to throw humans at monsters.
Yeah, he can even throw himself as a last resort.
Yep.
He does not strike me as someone who's going to, based on his artwork, throw himself at anyone.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But
quick, staple me to the ballista.
It's fine. I think it just is like having a curve in Modern of Champion of the Parish into, let's say, what is it? Thalia's Lieutenant into this guy.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
And you're like attacking for 7.
Yeah.
On turn 3.
Yeah.
Like that just seems good enough.
Yeah.
Where you just don't give them a clock. And oh yeah, by the way, I get to eat your food for your Snapcaster Mage, or I shrunk your Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You just have this extra value stapled onto it. Like, you know, it might only get to be like a 2 or a 3 of because it's legendary.
Right.
And also, especially in like Modern, the fact that it's white-black, like if it takes some number of the Mantis Rider slots, it cleans up the mana some.
Oh yeah, it does. You can actually cast your spells if you want to. Yeah,
where you're 4-color humans as opposed to 5-color, if that's the thing. And then in Pioneer, you have Thalia's Lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Big Thalia.
You have Big Thalia.
Yeah.
And you have this guy now.
Yeah.
So you have this like shell of a human tribal deck coming together in Pioneer as well. So this card is just, it does enough that it can find a home in a couple different.
Yeah. That last ability is interesting too because you can do it at instant speed. So you can turn in response to a removal spell, you can turn, one of your other humans and whatever was going to die anyway into a removal spell for one of their creatures.
Yeah, to push through damage or whatever. Yeah. Like, here, you played your big blocker. Cool, I'll kill it. Now I can attack around your other thing.
Yeah. One other thing is that, like, a lot of random tokens are humans. Not all of them. Some of them are just knights. Some of them are just warriors or whatever. But a lot of them are like human soldier, human warrior.
Well, a lot of the tokens that are being made in Standard now are humans.
Yeah.
So Elspeth makes humans.
Right.
Some
Lovestruck Beast makes a human.
And part of it is because Mutate doesn't want you to put stuff on humans.
Right.
But this also helps with this guy and like the human sub-theme in this set.
Mm-hmm.
So just the thing to keep in mind as well, that like if you have this into Elspeth's making 2/2s.
Right.
That
seems
you
pretty
pay
good.
2 mana and eat a big thing.
Yeah.
All right. So I know we don't hit the mythics too hard, but we were going to do like 4 mythics in a row. So we're 2 down, 2 more to go. So next up is Lunia, Apex of Wishes for 2 green, blue, red.
Yep.
And it says Flample, Flying and Trample, and it's a 6/6. So it's a 5 mana, 6/6 Flying Trample.
Yep.
Seems decent. Whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand. And it has mutate for 3 blue hybrid red-green.
Okay.
So the mutate cost, you play it in like a blue-green deck, or you can play it in a blue-red deck. Which is interesting that they did this for all of them, that one of the mana symbols is hybrid. So its mutate cost is a little bit more, but it like has super cascade.
Does the mutate cost fall in line with the ultimatums?
In terms of
Like for this Teamer one, is the Teamer ultimatum have triple blue in it?
it does, yes.
Okay, so that might be why they did it that way. They based each wedge off of a single color.
Okay.
So like the Teamer ultimatum is red, red, blue, 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 green, green.
Yes.
And so this is, has that double blue, like
has
in
the
line
blue,
with that or
blue,
whatever.
and,
Yeah.
okay. But so for 6 mana, you can just mutate this, and you're going to basically cast something for free, or draw a card, which seems kind of great.
You don't cast it, so Drannith Magistrate doesn't stop this.
Yeah, you just put it onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, you just drop it on the battlefield here. So that seems really good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think the mutate we're going to have to kind of play with to figure it out, all the ins and outs of how the mechanic works. That's kind of why I left a bunch of these off of our review, unfortunately, because I just don't know how mutate's going to play. I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
So sure, if mutate's a thing, this sounds great. But if mutate's not a thing, it's a what was that guy's name? Doom Whisperer. It's a Doom Whisperer that doesn't sort you cards or whatever.
Yeah. So I guess that, but I mean, Doom Whisperer as the fail case is not the worst thing ever.
Like, it's not even as good as Doom Whisperer though, because like Doom Whisperer has a relevant other ability, and if like mutate's not a thing, or you want to pay 6 mana to mutate, I don't even know if you want to pay 6 mana to mutate, but like if you don't, this is just a vanilla 6/6 Flampler. Like, it doesn't do anything else. It doesn't affect the battlefield.
Yeah, if it didn't have the mutate ability, it wouldn't be good enough.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know how good mutate is.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you can't really read and say, oh yeah, that's good. Like, I have no idea if it's good.
Yeah. So the next one is Brokos, Apex of Forever. And it's make sure I get this right. I wanted to say it's the same thing. It's 2 black, green, blue for a 6/6 trample.
Yep.
And it has mutate for 2 green, green hybrid blue, black.
Yep.
So its mutate cost is basically the same as its casting cost, 5 mana wise.
Right. The last one was 6 mana, so this is 1 less than the last one.
Yeah. And this has, you may cast Brokos Apex of Forever from your graveyard using its mutate ability. So this I kind of looked at as going into the same decks that would play Uro, where instead of them being Bant, they would be Sultai.
Well, I mean, ours was Sultai anyway.
Yeah, ours was Sultai anyway.
Yeah. Where
you're playing Cavalier of Thorns, filling up your graveyard, and you just kind of flip over a Brokos, and you're like, okay, I'm going to turn my Mire Triton into a 6/6
Death Touch Trample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you have creatures sitting around and you just basically draw one of these out of your graveyard. Where if you're playing a creature heavy deck, it's just like, oh, I get to bring this guy back and throw it on something. You have to have something to put it on, but you just get to have it.
Yeah. See, this one's kind of unique though, because it doesn't give you like a mutate trigger.
Yeah.
It just lets you mutate out of your graveyard. And again, I don't know how good that is. I mean, it's great if you're playing things like Mire Triton that don't really matter in the late game, and you're just looking to upgrade them. Sure, this is a great way to upgrade your Mire Triton or whatever. But like, you're not going to mutate your Kev Thorns into Brokos.
No.
You're not going to mutate your Uro into Brokos. Like, it just doesn't do anything except give it trample.
Yeah, which, I mean, giving your Uro trample is fine. That's not worth 5 mana.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's fine, but it's not really what you want to be doing with your mana at that point in the game.
Yeah. But I guess it's better than doing nothing with your mana sometimes.
Yeah, I really didn't find myself doing nothing with my mana, though, with that deck.
Fair. But now I picked these 2 in particular, and we'll talk about the ultimatums we've kind of touched on.
Yeah.
Because they're blue-green, like 5 mana is the new 3 mana.
Right, for those decks, yeah.
Yeah. or the mutate ability that's 6 mana. That's the new 4 mana.
Yeah.
Right. Those decks ramp so hard. You could see games where you go, Paradise Druid into like Growth Spiral into turn 4, put Illumina onto your Paradise Druid, and then put Anissa into play.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
And you're just like, and you concede now, or do you want to go through the rigmarole of thinking you can win this game?
Yeah, and that was actually something. The next card we're going to talk about is another mutate card, and that was kind of something I had in our notes about the next card, is that those mutate cards want something really good, especially the more expensive ones. They want something really good to have been down already that you can easily mutate onto, something like Paradise Druid. I don't think a lot of these mutate cards like slot cleanly into a deck that currently exists. Like, so we were just talking about Brokos, like maybe wanting it in our Casual Try Hard Sultai list. But I don't know that it slots just cleanly in, because there's not a ton of things that you want to mutate onto already. You want to kind of add things in like Paradise Druid that have a relevant protective keyword that come down early and help you in the early game. And then once you mutate onto them, they're a house. And I don't know that there's a ton of those decks that exist right now. You kind of have to change the way you build them a little bit. So that next card that I was referring to was actually one that one of our Patreons wanted us to talk about, and it's Parcel Beast. So Parcel Beast is 2 green-blue for a 2/4 with Mutate. Mutate cost is a green and a blue. And it has an activate ability of 1 and tap it to look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you don't put the card onto the battlefield, you put it in your hand.
It also is going to upgrade anything on like turn 3 that you put it on.
Yeah, again, like we were just talking about with like a Paradise Druid. This is the prime candidate to put on a Paradise Druid.
Yeah, where you're just like, all right, here's my 2/4 hexproof guy. You can never get through this.
Right. And then randomly, like on their end step or whatever, you activate its ability. Like if shields are down, you activate the ability, ramp yourself, draw a card, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And it is another like reason to play like a million lands in your deck.
Oh yeah, that's definitely, like if you're playing this and Growth Spiral and Uro, like you want to be running a 30 land deck or like 28 to 30 lands somewhere in there.
Yeah. So I was just flipping through real quick, and I was like, what are the hexproof nerds that we currently have? And Barkhide Troll.
Oh, that's interesting.
Where you play Barkhide Troll, then you play Parcel Beast, you have mana up, and you have a 3/5 pay 1, remove a counter, give it hexproof guy. Like that seems pretty decent in the early game.
Yeah. Also, randomly, a lot of these mutate things are elementals.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You get to play your Risen Reefs, but when you mutate something, they don't trigger enter the battlefield abilities because they don't enter the new. It's still the same object on the battlefield. It like Voltrons, but it doesn't. So like if you have a Risen Reef and you put a Parcel Beast on it.
Right.
You've not put an elemental onto the battlefield.
Correct.
So you don't get to look at your top card.
Right.
Which just goes against like
everything elemental wants to do.
And everything you've ever been taught about Magic. I put card from hand onto the battlefield. So I get my enters the battlefield?
No.
Sweet. So yeah, Parcel Beast is like, a reasonable mana sink. What was that Druid? It was like 1 and a green for a 1/3, and you tapped it, and if it in your top card was a land, you have to put it in your hand. What was it? I don't
remember.
I have it in my arena sealed, but this is something similar where you have to pay mana, but you get to put it on the battlefield if it's a land.
Yeah.
Next up is a card that's going to go into a deck that is, I don't think good, but it could get good.
Well, it's kind of the same deck we were talking about earlier with Ninjoctopus and Keep Safe.
Yeah. And this is Skycat Sovereign. So it's blue-white for a 1/1 flyer, elemental cat. And it gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with flying. So it gets really tall.
Yeah.
And has an activated ability of 2 white-blue, create a 1/1 white cat bird creature token with flying.
So it makes it self-tall.
It makes it self-tall, and then makes a bunch of 1/1s.
Yep.
Like, if the blue-white flyers deck can be a thing, like this slots into like where Hushbringer is currently sitting in that deck.
Yeah.
Where like Hushbringer is like whatever. Like sometimes it hoses them, and sometimes they play a turn 3 Uro when you have a Hushbringer out, and they just get a 3-mana 6/6,
right?
And you lose. Like, but a curve of 1-drop flyer into Empyrean Eagle.
Yeah.
Where you're
Seems
attacking for like 6 on turn 3.
Yep.
Seems good. Like they have like no time to get their feet underneath them, and then you're playing, a cheap counterspell, or you're playing a keepsake.
Ninja Octopus.
Yeah, you Ninja Octopus them the next turn. You're like, they're like attack. You're like, okay, Ninja Octopus.
Yep.
Sigh. Okay, you got me.
Octopus got me again.
Got me again. Okay. So this is another one that it could be a 50-cent rare. It could be like a $3 rare.
Yep.
But it's just one that if like, especially like on Arena, if you're someone who plays the blue-white flyers deck, this card just slots right into that.
Mm-hmm.